Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelly Weyer, and this is my mom, Judy Weyer, and we are here talking about our experience of getting my driver's license. I'll give the phone to my mom.
Okay. Hi, I'm Judy. A little bit about us. We live in Mount Horeb, recently moved there. I grew up in Milwaukee, got married, moved to Mukwonago, lived there for 38 years and raised two daughters. Um, Now, you'll have to forgive me. Public speaking is not my forte, so I will be referring to my notes quite a bit. So I'm a little bit nervous. Kelly's had a bit more experience in this than I have. We have been asked to talk about our experience with the process of Kelly getting her driver's license. It was quite a long road. And when we were first approached about this, I was very hesitant because of my anxiety with doing this kind of thing. But I thought, if we shared our story, it might help someone else. And that propelled me to agree to do this. So here we are. Well, 35 years ago, I gave birth to my daughter Kelly, and our world was forever changed. We were dealing with a number of birth defects. Our world was very chaotic for the first few years, and then she entered early childhood, and then we started having to deal with the cognitive side of things. So, becoming a special needs parent, you are not automatically born to be an advocate. I had to learn that, and it's a long journey to do that. And here's something that Kelly would like to share with you.
Yes. There are many misconceptions about
Misconceptions.
misconceptions about people with intellectual disability. Many believe that they can't work, they can't live independently, they can't drive, and
So many people will see the disability and make broad assumptions. And some people can't see past the disability to see the ability. And before I had Kelly, I admit I did the same thing. I've learned a lot about myself in the 35 years since she was born. I've learned patience, how to be an advocate, and I'm still learning how to do that, as you'll hear shortly. Learn how to navigate resources for my daughter and to be kind to myself when I fall short, because, I did that quite a lot. When Kelly came to me and told me that she wanted to learn how to drive, my immediate response was, no, this is not possible. I cannot see that happening. But she didn't give up. She had downloaded the instruction manual for the driver's test. She started studying and she kept asking me and my husband, and we kept saying, I don't really think this is possible. But she kept pushing and advocating for herself, which I am so proud of her for doing. Um, and so we finally said, okay, let's see what you can do with this. So Kelly, tell me how about the experience of you practicing for your written test?
yes. My written test was very hard. I failed 2 times, but I my third one I did it verbally, so I did with one with the DVM, and we did just one-on-one, and then we did it with the paper. But the first one that I did, it was on a computer, but there was a time limit, and I can't do that fast, so I failed that one. But the second one, I did a piece of paper on my own, but I failed that one again. But I passed my third one, and that one I did with one-on-one construction with the DVM.
So what did
Right.
that look like when you had that
Oh.
test done? Was
Um,
that different from the
I
other?
that really helped me. I mean, kind of helped me with like the pictures on there, and then she kind of like helped me to describe what to do with the written test. Um,
And we didn't know that option was available to us until a friend of mine had told us. People learn differently. They take tests differently, and we discovered that.
and, after when I passed my written test, I got my learner's permit. And then I got so excited and I was just jumping up and down. And after that, I started it called adopted driving.
Well,
Or well, a
friend
friend,
told you about
my
that.
my friend, um, told me about this adaptive driving lesson, the part with DVR. So it's 10 lessons, and I just kind we just work from there, and I kind of just started practicing around the neighborhood, and we should kind of drive in different routes. And
So how did you, so So a couple of years ago, we were at this conference, and Kelly said, I am going to go over to the Department of Vocational Resources table. They had a table here at the conference, and they will help you with anything that has to do with work. And driving a car gets you to work. So they do have services for that. And so she filled out an application, opened a DVR case, and we requested adaptive driving instruction, which we were granted, and we were very fortunate to get that rather quickly. And they started off with 10 lessons, and it's an instructor who is used to working with people with special needs. And so you had your 10 lessons, which went well, and then we were requested 10 more, but you only used, I believe, 7 of that. And then it was time for what was after that?
my road test, so yeah, my mom was really nervous about.
Prepare for that.
Oh, before my road test, me and my mom were practicing like practicing white turns, roundabouts, and what else did we
Many,
learn?
many
Many white turns, and we practiced so many on a driving book handbook. So I've been with
roundabouts.
roundabouts. Um,
We also went to the DMV where we were going to actually take the road test, practiced driving around that area, practice going in and out of the parking lot, parking, backing out, and just getting muscle memory, so to speak, to be able to navigate that when the day came. And we, prayed for good weather, which we got. So we started out the very first time we took you out in the car, it was in the parking lot in the high school on a Sunday afternoon. No one was there. And a lot of people will tell you when you are in the passenger seat, you're stopping the imaginary brake. I was stopping the imaginary accelerator because she was going 5 miles an hour. So we graduated up to 15, 20 miles an hour. Then we were ready for the road. So we drove around our neighborhood
yeah,
quite a lot, didn't we?
yeah, we did. We drove around the neighborhood, and we drove over in Elkhorn. We drove in that area and like in a town before practicing for the big road test. And yeah, it was about a study and a study, and I just wrote down a bunch of notes and I was looking on the computer with the handbook of the.
One thing I was going one thing we discovered during all of this practice was that Kelly did not respond correctly if you said turn left or turn right. There was that was something that she just could not verbally or auditorily understand while she was driving. But I would have to point this way or that way. But then that kind of worried me. But then I realized when you're driving in your car, do you have someone next to you all the time saying turn left, turn right? You're doing these things on your own automatically anyway. We also, during the practice, I made these signs. It says, "New driver, please be patient." I put that in the back of our car whenever we went out on the road, just because there's a lot of impatient drivers in the world, and they're sometimes aren't going to be that nice. So we put a little smiley face on the back of it. So did you? Yeah, yeah. Exactly, and I think that was one of the best things we did during that time. Okay, the day of the road test came. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I think we did talk about a little about that before. I was nervous. I was gonna fill out just the chart application. Then the instructor came out, told that we are ready, and then we just kind of went off. And I just kind of, I was like, just stay calm and just, you got this. And then it was a very easy, simple road test. I would just go and drive like in a it's like an empty space that we took the road test and then just make like a wide turn. That would do like a parallel parking. That was a tough one. That's the one that made a mistake with parallel parking. But and then I remember we were drive like in the Elkhorn town and but a stop sign and then we should drove back into the DMV where I had my test done. Then when I was done, she said I passed, and I was like, "Oh, hallelujah!" So I just came in the building. I just showed the paper to my mom, and the instructor said thumbs up that she passed, and
Yeah, I sat in the waiting room the entire time, just my eyes glued to the door. And when they came back, the instructor made eye contact with me, gave me a thumbs up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, first time out, that's great." So I think that's a credit to Kelly and all of her hard work in preparing for that. So now, when you pass your driver's test, you get your license and all that fun stuff. Does that mean automatically that you can just drive anywhere you want? In Kelly's case, there were um, things we had to do to prepare for that. For driving to work, we had to practice a route that was safer than there was a straightforward route, but that was involving a very large intersection. So we found a route that was out of the way, but it worked for her. And then, so then do you remember when I would follow you or you'd follow me for the first couple, for the week, and then I'd follow you, and then you were on your own?
was I would follow mom behind her. Then I would just practice to driving to work a couple times, and then after that, I'll just be on my own and start feeling more comfortable. Cause I started driving in McGuanago. So then just kind of like driving in the town there. So just kind of take me a couple of times.
But then you needed a car, didn't you? Yeah. So, yeah, so there was a lot of sleepless nights during all of this process for my husband and I. It's just watching her drive out on her own in the car. I was like, oh, this is just so weird. But my husband has more experience in the vehicle department, so I gave him that responsibility. So he looked around I said, I did all the hard part. You can do this. This is on you. So it's your turn. So he looked around. He found a really great Honda Fit. I don't know if you know what a Honda Fit is. It's a little compact car, perfect size for you. 2016 in great condition. So we made arrangements. She didn't qualify for a car loan, so we gave her the money, and we came up with a contract that, for her to pay us back. And included in the contract were some stipulations about what you can and cannot do with the car. Can you talk about a couple of those?
Yes. There are a couple of parts of the car that I cannot do. Like I cannot like drive at nighttime. What I
No
cannot like
friends in the
no
car?
friends in the car or no phone in the front seat. And like if there's like a heavy like bad weather like heavy rain or like snow I cannot.
Drive.
And my mom would take me to closer to home, and I was not able to handle those conditions. And I can only drive like in limited areas as well.
Okay. All right, so we did have that agreement, and I had my friend notarize it to make it official. So, so everything was great for a couple years. We lived in McConaughey. You drove there for 2 years, and then what did we do? We moved to Mount Horeb, a whole new city, whole new set of rules. You had to relearn how to get from point A to point B. So we kind of started that all over again. We had to start practicing again. And so then, let's see. Yeah, you've been in Mount Horeb about 4 months. So and there are, if anyone knows Mount Horeb area, they have a lot of roundabouts and very busy roads. So now we're learning all about the roundabouts, which is fun. So, does having a driver's license look the same for everyone? No, it does not. Some people can drive in busy areas like Madison. At this point, you do not. I, I've learned never say never because look, that's That's too limiting. And then some don't drive at night. I'm one of those people. I don't like driving at night. Others won't driving on the interstate. So it doesn't look the same for everyone. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And the ability to drive has given you much more confidence. And I can't tell you how proud I am of how you advocated for yourself. And so, does anyone have any questions for Kelly or me?
So I'm just asking, Kelly. So like, well, I know you have your driver's license and all, and so like, so do you drive on the highway or is that a restriction?
That's by your choice though, right?
Okay.
If you become more comfortable with getting on the freeway with that kind of speed and it's not too busy, would you consider doing that? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because I have a friend that also has his driver's license. His name is Andrew Gerbitz, and yeah, he has a driver's license and he can go wherever he is. Yeah, he can go wherever he desires. He's also married, to his longtime girlfriend Manny, to his longtime girlfriend, Manny Elders. So I feel like he drives and he really loves it. So.
I know it really gives you a lot of freedom, a lot of independence.
I have a question. I was wondering what the adaptive lessons were like for the drive-in.
The adaptive driving lesson was a great experience, and I taught a lot. And he just taught me like so many with like different white turns, and I just learned like different routes and doing. I was really patient with him, and and he was patient with me. And sometimes he'll kind of push me a little bit, but I was just being patient and just staying calm with him, and he was a really good instructor.
Some tough love
And
in there.
yeah.
Yeah. So he did push her when she would hesitate and not want to do something. He'd say, you know, at least try it, you know. So anyone else? Oh,
You had said that you can't have your phone in the front seat. Where do you store it?
I keep it in my purse.
but in the back seat, right?
I keep it into the back seat of my purse.
To remove the temptation of answering it if it's.
Oh, she had a question.
Okay, go ahead. You can give it to her.
So what was like most scary about getting your driver's license?
Grab the mic. They're recording.
It was scary at first, but it was exciting and scary, but I was more excited to be more independently so I can like be out on my own instead with my mom taking me all the time. So
Now you used to take the senior taxi everywhere, so you were so thrilled to be able to not have to do that anymore.
I don't think you covered this, but can you get a vehicle with a different like hand,
Oh, you mean for the driving
yeah,
instruction?
yeah, I mean, driving the car, yeah.
Do you mean owning a car or?
Yeah, drive a.
I would think that those are available. I don't know if DVR has any influence on
But
that.
no, I know that you have to go and get, custom.
Yeah.
Made, but I'm saying, okay, you answered the question, I'm not listening. That you just said that you don't know what the
I don't know
instructions for
know
the motor vehicle department.
But you know
about
what though, her friend Amanda has a vehicle that has the hand controls on it that she uses. So I don't know if she learned on that. I would think she did. Yeah, we never really looked into that. It wasn't something that we needed. So, but that's something to check with DVR about. I'll bet they, yeah, I'm sure they have access to the instruction like that. Okay. Oh, I'm sure that they would be able, if they don't have any resource, they'd be able to direct you to the resources you'd need. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you take newbies like from somebody that lives way up north? Do you take newbies like,
Is able to access the instruction that DVR was able to provide for us. So you'd have to call DVR
oh,
and then, or open up a case with them and they'd be able to let you know from there.
oh, you went through DVR?
Yeah. No, we went through DVR in Waukesha where we lived at the time in Waukesha County. And they were able to connect us with an organization that does adaptive driving instruction. No, how old are you, Kelly?
I am 35. I took my driver's license. I was 33 years old.
Yeah. Well, she's,
I don't persuade my sister doesn't really want me to have one.
but you want a driver's license?
I do.
Okay. And you probably have to do what she did and keep pushing is kind of what she did and got us to change our minds and our hearts.
Okay,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I have two separate questions. So one of them is when you failed your test, when you had your written test, did you had to advocate to be able to get that help from them to write, to have them to read it to you and have that assistance?
Third one, they would help me with work together like
But we had to ask them.
we had to ask them before. No, they didn't. We had to
know
ask them.
about it.
Yeah, we didn't know. So and then we asked them because well, you called DB. Or a friend of mine.
told
Yeah,
me that was available. I said, really? Okay. They did not offer it to us.
yeah, they didn't offer it to
Right.
us.
So my second part of the question is, so you said they give you the 10 driving lessons and then you took 7 more. So those other 7, were you able to just pay for those out of pocket and sign up for them without getting that, 10 granted by them? So the additional 7, how did you get those?
We were able to get the additional 10 granted through DVR. They would go up to 20 and that was it. But we only needed the 7. So we got to the point where we felt, and you felt you were ready to do the test. And then we just went ahead and did that. And so DVR, the adaptive driving test, or no, DVR covered the cost of the adaptive driving lessons. They gave us 10 to start off with, and then when we felt she needed more, we requested 10 additional lessons, and they said they would only go up to 20, and that was it, but we only needed 7 of those, luckily. And yeah. Oh, no. Yes, you'll have to open up a DVR case, go to their website and you apply online, and then they will have someone contact you to talk about that further and what you want from the caseworker. So, okay, that's what we did.
Like, you have to have a reason why you need your license, like work related or something for DVR to help fund it.
Yes, it has to be work related. Yes, it's a good distinction. Thank you for that distinction. So I think you
What is your dream car after the one that you currently have?
think. What would you like for your dream car?
Well, I would say a Toyota Corolla.
Corolla?
Yeah, Corolla. Get purple.
Cool.
I like purple's my favorite color.
And
Were there any restrictions that you didn't like or had a compromise with?
so the restrictions that I
Oh,
put in the
yeah.
contract, are there any that you thought were unfair?
What were those? I forgot.
No phone in the front.
Oh yeah, no phone in the front.
Friends.
No friends. No phone in the car.
Did you think they're reasonable?
Yeah, I think they were reasonable because I know there's a lot of drivers that use phones a lot when they drive, and I never do that because that can really distract me when I'm driving, and especially like on a busy street or on a highway, like they're like roundabouts, and yeah, I don't do any of with those restrictions.
But then you did recently have a friend in the car that you were able to drive a short distance. So, but, just so, and as long as you are comfortable with that kind of thing, it's been a couple years, so we thought we'll give it a try. So. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. No. No. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Right, so these are just starting off rules
Yeah.
that we wanted in place, so she didn't have the distraction.
Yeah. And like if I'm like in a car, like if someone else is talking, that'll get me really distracted. Like in Mount Horeb, there's like a really busy downtown. I'll have to keep watching for people walking across. So I have to keep a close on that.
And I would be sitting next to her in the car and she'd, Mom, stop talking. Did you have a question? No. Okay.
I want to drive myself. I keep asking, how did like that happen?
It took a while. It took, we're talking, it was a few months, and then I still hadn't agreed, and we had come to this conference that year. And she said, I'm going to the DVR table. I'm filling out an application. She told me, she didn't ask. She just said, I'm doing it. I said, all right, you do you. And then we, little by little, basically she wore us down. So, and her determination really, I really thought, you know what, she's really wanting this badly. And, deep in my back of my mind, I thought, you know what, she's going to give it a try. She's going to fail miserably, and that's it. And um, and you proved me wrong, and I am still learning how to be a better advocate every day because I wasn't at that time. And, I admit that is on me, and you taught me a great lesson. So thank you for that. We have a couple more questions.
Are we still on the questions?
We're done.
Okay. What was mine? Okay. Um, I'm gonna give you a little background of me because when I first started out with my license, because well, this was before even worked at the job that I work at, like OC, because this was like a little bit after when I graduated from high school, because I came up to Wisconsin Rapids. I lived with my grandparents for a few many years, and of course then of course throughout that summer I ended up taking my summer driving course. Of course, with me being the only one in the room was the oldest of everyone, so I didn't have to, like when you were 16, you have to, whatever age you were, so I didn't have to. Even though I still take the course, even though I really enjoyed it, because I don't mind being, you know. So, anyways, so then again, when so then when it came to like, like like you did, like the written thing. Well, yours is written, mine is computerized now. But anyways, so yes, for my first one, I didn't make it, but the second one I passed. So then there came the big test before you get your what. So and I passed on the first round. So and then of course then there was like when you think about like the power of a license, like when you first get it, it's like you realize this little card is out the palm of your hand and saying like this is what gets me the right to drive. And and then over many years, I was keeping this. Of course, you can always get a different one every time, but anyways, I always thought of it as like a gift, like a miracle gift, because just like, oh, it felt like a gift for you too, because it's like over the years, when I started getting more comments where for me I could do things like going grocery shopping by myself, because like I first off with programs that they were okay, but sometimes whenever I had to wait for my caregiver or provider to take me, they sometimes were always late, or they didn't show up. So I'm like, it's like, what the heck am I doing here? I got a license. Why don't I go shopping by myself? So like the first few years after doing that, and then up till now, to me it's a blessing that I've been able, because like and especially with my first car was my grandmother's Queen Victoria, and then after that one was my well next one I got was this is gonna be well, because it was right after 2021, because my grandfather that same year his car was not running and mine wasn't even running. So but apparently he ended up one day getting a car. This was a 2020 Malibu. Well, but of course then he ended up losing his license because a few months later, because he had to take a driving to prove that he could still, when people get older, So apparently he failed both times, so he had to give up his license. So then, so then, over the course, well, I ended up having his car. Well, kind of secretly, because he always had the thing about when someone is independent who has driven for so many years, like he was more on the sour side when he lost his license, because that's a license like that is like your independence, and when anyone who you have to, so oh, and then then I just want to like to say like it's like how proud have you been since like compared to like with my you know.
And congratulations to you too.
Congratulations to you as well for getting your driver's license.
And
Great.
one more,
Great.
and I think that's
So I'm just asking because I am 29, going on 30 next year, and yes, and like when I graduated high school, I got a certificate because I was going into a program. So I was held back a year in high school, in order to actually get into a program. So I couldn't get my driver's license when I was in high school. And so I'm just asking, do you have any advice to give me? Do you have any advice to give me to actually get it? Do you have any advice for me to get my driver's license?
Just like advocating yourselves, kind of like I did too. With my mom just advocating and just like try pushing and never give up, and just advocate for yourself. Yeah, thanks.
you studied the handbook, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you took practice tests.
Yeah, we took practice tests. I studied like the handbook. I took a bunch of notes and just studied. I just kept on working hard and just kept pushing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You everyone.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming.